Hello, it is I, Herlock Sholmes, welcome you to Spaghetti Chapel service. Especially all of you that don't want to go to chapel tonight. I know there are some of you that are in middle or high school, or even college, that are loathing spending their Wednesdays when they could just be sitting at home playing Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, the new Metroid Dread, or even something on the PS whatever's out there nowadays.
5.
So I don't keep up with Sony because Sony is shit. So, anyway, welcome to the show. For me, Pastor Dini, we got Archbishop Sylph, we got Bishop Circus, and we have, what's below Bishop? Shit, I forgot the Catholic thing.
You can just refer to me, you can refer to me as Sister.
Sister Mooney. There you go.
Oh god, she's a nun. Run! She's got the rulers.
She's gonna throw she's gonna throw rosaries at everybody. All right, so last time we left off, we were gonna go figure out exactly if we're going to represent Mr. Natsume or not, the guy who sounds like Torgo.
Oh no.
So we figured out a few things, but we finally got permission to go inside the building where Mr. Natsume lives, and we're gonna get a chance to see his landlord. So we're gonna find out more about the landlord today. So let's get started. And yes, that is still Herlock Sholmes' house in the background.
Let's rob it.
Well, let's do it.
Ooh, the snowman.
Oh, made a heckin' good stir fry.
Looks as though the police are still here, carrying on with their investigation.
Perfect. So let's find Inspector Gregson as quickly as possible.
Yes, and let's see if he'll take a break from his chips to look at that silver tip Iris gave us for him. You goddamn not! I'm gonna keep eating these chips, you fucking kids.
Get off the desk.
Man, that guy must have an endless supply and it's like pockets.
No, this is a magic chips holder.
It says you don't question logic about this.
There is no logic in Ace Attorney. Even though there is logic, there's logic and then there's illogic. Don't question it.
Get on with the reading now.
Inspector Gregson, do you have a moment? I'm sorry to say I don't. I'm a very busy man. Much too busy to talk to a pair of foreign gadabouts, that's for sure.
We have these for you. A present for Miss Iris Wilson.
What? For me? From her ladyship? Her ladyship? Give that here, at once. Come on, hand it over. That's for me.
A place will get you farther.
Here, I'll give you my fish and chips in exchange. How's that? Don't wait for me to give it to you, will you? What was that coin exactly? It's a silver crown, obviously, but it's a lot more than that. It's an appearance fee, that's what it is.
In appearance fee. Oh, I see. You mean...
That's right, for the adventures of Herlock Sholmes. Her ladyship always offers me a little financial reward for featuring me, every time.
Yes, of course. I know all about your exploits, Inspector. I read them avidly.
Course, her using my name without my say-so does make me the butt of a lot of unpleasant jokes, but still. I'm sorry, Inspector. This might most be difficult for you. Never you mind that. So, what do you want to know then, eh? Sorry? Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem, it says. Well, obviously it's not a problem. Go on, fire away. What do you want to know?
Well, if you wouldn't mind, Inspector. We'd very much like to know the address of Mr. Natsumi's lodgings.
Ah, the little knife-wielding, mustache Japanese fella? I have a name, you know. He lives at a right old hovel. It's just over there. Look. On the first floor of that house on the corner with that wreck of a bicycle's propped up.
Is that his bike?
Yes.
That is nearby indeed.
Insert song right here.
I almost fell off the bike when I accidentally went into the street and ran into another tire. If I remember rightly, the landlord is a Mr. John Garrideb. Right, well, if you see her again, you make sure you give her ladyship my regards, you hear? I mean it. You tell her that Gregson sends his very best wishes. Don't worry, Inspector, we will. Goodbye for now, then. And long live her ladyship.
Good lord, he's a boss.
Just fades away like a PowerPoint presentation. Well, at least he told us what we wanted to know before he left.
Yes. So then, shall we go and see what we can find in Mr. Natsume's lodgings?
Definitely.
Let's go!
Oh, let's go.
Ray
Oh,
Holmestar.
Oh, perfect. This is Blitzkrieg Pop, right in the Ramones style.
How's your day been, Homestar?
I've not been awakened yet.
What is that? Is that an apron? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, it is.
This is me, right?
That's you. That's the maid.
May I help you?
Ah, yes. Would this be the residence of Mr. John Garrideb?
Indeed, it would, sir. And may I say who is calling?
My name is Renosuke Naruhodo. I'm,
Mr. Naruhodo is representing Mr. Soseki Natsumi. I believe he takes lodgings here. Would very much like to ask him some questions about our client.
What the fuck? One moment, please. I shall convey the message to Mr. Goddam.
Did you
Did
see
you
that?
Oh,
That's
fuck.
that's me. Don't worry, I'll probably fuck it up too, and then you can yell right back at me. Did you see that, Mr. Sato? That was a real-life English maid.
I know. As I understand it, anyone of standing in the English society employs a number of household staff. But that was the first time I've ever seen one in the flesh. Oh, this day keeps getting better.
Oh my
Am I a joke to you?
Yeah.
You're
It's
on the
cer-
jury.
It certainly feels like we've really arrived now, doesn't it?
If it's so, I do work for his lordship as a maid.
We we need only to meet a butler, and the experience will be complete.
I'm posed as a butler. I am Herlock Sholmes' butler extraordinaire. I'm undercover, don't tell anybody. Well, I'm not sure if I go that far, but I understand the sentiment.
Thank you for waiting. Mr. Colorado will see you now. This way?
Oh,
He looks like a crescent moon in that side profile.
I know!
wait, the Chad meme?
It kind of reminds me of that one McDonald's fucking mascot.
Oh, from
Is
the
he supposed to be a
80s?
shark?
Yeah, the
Like-
one from the 80s.
If he dyed his hair black or gray, would he like look like a shark if he's in the pool?
he would probably be a shark from West Side Story too. When you're a shark, you're the shark all the way. Good day to you, John Garadeb at your service.
Pleased to meet you, sir. This is Renosuke Naruhodo. He's a defense lawyer.
Do excuse me not getting up. Took a shot to the knee a few years back in the Battle of Maywar, don't you know? Earned a medal for my pains, but had to withdraw from service. Handed over the reins to the up-and-comings. So he's a retired soldier. It's a hell of a job getting up and downstairs now, I can tell you. Don't get out much as you can imagine. Yes, it's quite a climb up here to the second floor, isn't it? I was panting at the top of the stairs.
You really must take more exercise, Mr. Naruhodo.
Well,
Are
they
you
don't have.
That?
Well, they don't have a Planet Fitness here.
Sometimes a walk around the block will do you some good, or a light jog.
Well, we just got here, Sasato. What makes me think and by the way, it's cold outside. Why would I want to go for a brisk jog in the snowy ice cold? I'm not Mr. Freeze from Batman. I don't know how I would know that, but I'm just assuming if there was ever a story about a guy who was obsessed with bats and he had a villain that liked to be in sub-zero temperatures, that would not be me. Ugh, do you think so?
Well, Mr. Garadeb, no doubt you were very courageous to earn yourself a medal.
Oh, it was nothing. The medal's just a fodderall, really. Wouldn't like to offend the general, though, so I grudgingly displayed it on the wall. Why don't you fetch it down, Joe? Let these good people see it properly. Joan, fetch the... Dash it all, woman, be careful!
I like my character already. Oh, dearie me! I do beg your pardon, sir.
You jolly nearly took the skin off my hands.
Ooh.
I shall be more careful, sir.
If
So
that
anyway.
cheese is... Oh, sorry, I was gonna say, if that cheese is a certain temperature and it hit the fabric and it got absorbed in that, really bad second-degree burns, at least.
Yep.
I can't feel anything in my legs, so even if it was burned, I couldn't feel anything. So anyway, there you have it. Living the quiet life now, except for that last part where I nearly screamed at the top of my lungs. Yes, I see. Now then, I hear you want to know about the chap lodging downstairs, is that right?
Yes, we would be very grateful if you could answer some questions for us. Oh, fuck. Sorry.
No cell phones in this house.
Cell phone, what is that?
I'm
It's an
inventing it.
iPod.
Only two, please, naturally, especially if it helps to keep the peace here in Blighty. We forged an alliance with the Empire of Japan recently, as I'm sure you're aware. So this case is very much in the public eye, as it were. Oh, is it? Even had some famous detective poking around, you know. In this old house, would you believe?
Yes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
Could have been. Didn't catch the chap's name. Not really my cup of tea, all that detective business.
Oh, but you do have a copy of Rent's magazine here, so...
No,
Could have just said it was the maids.
Anyways, the chap investigating the full nurse room as we speak.
So he's in Soseki-san's room. It's a bally nuisance is what it is. The whole neighborhood's twitching its curtains now. And we're on Twitch discussing this. I don't like all this fuss. It's jolly unsettling.
Oh, sorry, pardon me. About Mr. Natsumi, then, Mr. Garadeb, please do tell us.
Ah, yes, the Japanese chap. Only been lodging here for a week. Oh, just 1 week? So he moved in very recently, then? I have 2 lodgers most of the time, one on the ground floor and one just below us. The first floor room became available a week ago, you see. There'd been... Dash it all, Joe, do be careful.
Oh, my goodness. I'm terribly sorry, sir. If you want to know, I thought he'd be a shady sort from the moment I set eyes upon him.
Why is she blushing? Oh, why?
He seemed to have the most nervous disposition, always shaking and looking over his shoulder.
Everybody's after me.
The man
Oh
had
no, the master probably gonna return.
That man had a shady written across his sweat-soaked brow, if you ask me.
You never know what the master can do to me or anyone else here in this city.
I said to myself, Joan, that man is trouble. Sooner or later, he's going to do something uptorch. And I'm rarely wrong about anything.
We won't be calling this maid as a witness, that's for sure.
Why does he keep doing that?
I
Oh,
know.
Okay, maybe because he doesn't have a spoon, so he had to use the.
so gotta use his
the
pipe
tip
that he
pot.
smokes out of? Not really, because I guess not PG enough. Oh, you know, game with murders, stabbings. Nope, nope, you can't have smoking.
Yeah, we have wine for drinking.
Oh, no, that's grapefruit juice in a grapefruit bottle.
Was there anything else that struck you as suspicious about the man at all?
Yes! Oh, yes, indeed there was.
And she's dying to tell us. Had you noticed anything else at all about your lodger, Mr. Natsume?
Oh, my word, yes. The man was shadier than an orchard.
Could you elaborate?
Well, I take the man's room, absolutely stuffed full of books. It is more than anyone could ever read. And he never so much passes time a day with another living soul. I haven't seen a single visitor call. He just trots off to an old bookshop every day and comes back at 5 to light the gas fire. And the funny little man is up past the time everyone else in the house has gone to bed, too.
That just
Oh.
sounds like me,
I see.
except recluse.
The gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed around 9 each night. But I never known that Japanese fellow to retire at earlier than 2 in the morning.
Is that also similar, Sylph?
Yes. Could have been playing Stardew.
Ah.
Did you know farming's relaxing?
Mm-hmm.
Could you clarify something, I wonder?
What, May? What, pray?
How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine?
I spy on him. Oh,
I'd understand that neither of the lodgers live on this floor of the house. Is that correct?
That's right, yes. They're both below us, on the first floor and street level.
Then how is it that you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? The precise times that they come back in the evening, for example. Even the times they go to bed.
Ah! Good grief, Joan, be more careful, woman.
Just giving him second and third degree burns to
Oh my
avoid the
goodness,
question.
sir. I'm terribly sorry, sir.
Something doesn't add up here. It seems that the incident took place at around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out of the window at around that time? The window?
Yes, we noticed that the window over there looks out over Briar Road. The incident took place on the pavement just on the far side of that street. Was there anyone suspicious loitering around?
5 o'clock is dinner time in the Garadeb household, so I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything. How about you, Joan?
No, sir. It would have been dusk outside already at that hour. And with the fog as well, I think it would have been quite impossible to see the other side of the road.
Oh, I see.
Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary then?
Such as?
Anything at all, even if it seems unrelated.
Well. Yes? Was there something then? Well, it's nothing particularly significant, but around that sort of time that... Oh! For the love of God, Joan, watch where you're doing!
She's doing this on purpose.
Oh, dearie me! What have I done? I'm awfully sorry, sir.
Well,
Do be more careful, woman.
she might have a,
Oh, sir.
she might be lost in her own, to her own world. That sometimes she forgets to stop. You could say.
No, I'm
But
with
those
you.
things fill up really quickly if you've ever poured tea. Like, of course, the thing I've used is just a little metal kettle, but...
Wouldn't it be the same thing? Like, doesn't it matter what any kind of drink you use, whether it be tea or coffee or anything?
Oh no, I was just referring to the thing I used to pour.
Wouldn't it
But
be
I don't
still
even have a
feels
kettle.
prickly.
I don't even have a kettle. I have like a machine that I use for coffee. Okay.
Ah,
Wouldn't that teapot be empty by now by the time she bring it?
It fills up like magic.
ooh, electric kettles are magic.
If I may, Mr. Narrow. Hello?
Oh, yes?
I have an extremely good memory, and as far as I can remember, nothing of any significance took place at that hour. Nothing at all.
Oh, really? Mr. Garadeb? The way you were talking before, it sounded rather like there might have been. Oh, well, as I was saying, it was just a trifling matter, really. Nothing of... Oh! Joan! Dash it all! What is the matter with you, woman?
Beg your pardon, sir. Nothing happened.
She's doing this on purpose. She's like gaslighting him and burning him.
Yes, quite. Nothing
I'd say he
happened.
agreed.
We sat down to a quiet, uneventful meal. Joan?
That's what, sir, Mr. Grandad.
What is the matter with these two?
Sounds like everybody's personal
Sound-
question.
Yeah, it sounds like something happened here in this room on the evening of the incident. But what?
I wish I knew.
Ouch. Don't mind the helicopter flying over the house.
I don't even hear a helicopter.
The only thing I can hear other than you guys talking is the Mr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine music.
Oh,
Could
that would be epic with this.
could you tell us which floor Mr. Natsume's room is on? Why, certainly. Just below us on the first floor.
And Mr. Sholmes is investigating there, even as we speak.
Yes. Told me Not's his name. Had asked him to look into the matter, so I gave him the key.
Mr. Natsume has engaged Mr. Sholmes' services.
Fuck no. That's a blatant lie. I agree. Would it be alright if we also had a look around? In Mr. Natsume's room, I mean. Don't see why not. It's just down one flight of stairs. Who knows if we'll find anything that could help us with the case, but we have to try.
We need
all,
oh. I'm sorry.
we need all the clues we can lay our hands on, shall we?
It keeps messing me up when she shows up on screen because I think she's gonna say something first and just...
Yeah.
Yes, and while we're there,
First class captain, ladies and gentlemen.
we can speak to Mr. Sholmes again. Perhaps he'll be able to tell us more.
Let's go.
Do. Oh.
Holy crap!
I knew it. I knew you were going to react like that as soon as this room was shown.
Wait, who?
You'll see.
I see a little calico. Who's cute.
Uh,
And yes, she,
It's a
because almost all calicos are girls.
It's a Maneko. You've never heard of a Maneko Neko?
The
Maneki
lucky
Neko, I mean?
cat?
Yes, that's basically what that looks like. It's a Maneki Neko.
Well, just look at this place. And smell it. It's so musty in here. I suppose it's the mountains of old books that are responsible for that.
Hey, old book smell is nice. And he's got a fake window. I don't think I've ever seen so many books in all my life.
No, me neither. It's so dark in here, too.
You thought I was going to say that, didn't you?
Yes.
Is that the window over there?
Well, it was the window, I think. Yes, once upon a time. But for some reason, it's been closed up with bricks and mortar. So this is where Mr. Natsume lives.
By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Sholmes anywhere, have you? He's on the ceiling, isn't he?
I am...
Like Spider Pig.
I'm Spider Pig. No, that's true. But according to what Mr. Gerdib told us, the great detective should be around here somewhere investigating.
That desk seems to be wedged into a crevice between the mountains of books on the other side.
I suppose Mr. Natsume would sit there and read while stroking his cat. But surrounded on all sides by these towering old tomes, surely he dreamt of books every night as well.
Yes, he must have done, mustn't he? Ooh, that's a pretty room. Oh, what's this? It's a receipt from a second-hand bookshop. Your books.
Oh, yes, Mr. Natsume's name is on it. Look, and the date of purchase. 2 days ago at 4:45 p.m. That's the day of the incident.
That's just a short while before he was embroiled in the terrible attack. He must have been on his way back from buying some old books. Oh, little kitty. Oh, there he is. Wait, there he is. Ah, look, Mr. Naruhodo.
Guess what? I'm Belle from Beauty and the Beast.
No, I think you're like more of like Waldo from Where's Waldo?
Although I was easily found. Aha! There he is. Where did he appear from?
is. He seems to be engrossed in the pages of an old book.
He's reading his own damn book.
I hope he won't mind if we disturb him.
Why would I have his books in my room? I hate the motherfucker.
Hello, Mr. Sholmes.
Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Hey, yo.
Hey, yo, Mr. Sholmes.
Yo. Ah, you two. Good day. Now, let me see. Where was it that we met?
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, we were together on the SS Buria.
Yes, of course. The Buria. And let me see. What happened on that voyage? It was Kazuma Sogi. He died. Tragically. But you were a great help to us. Ah, yes, but of course. The case of Mr. Asogi. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it?
No,
Oh,
real food, of course.
Well, you seem to remember something of it, at least.
what an honor to be remembered vaguely by the great Herlock Sholmes. This is Mr.
Oh, no, my dear madam. Hold your tongue. I pride
Alright.
myself on my superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic. Miss Naruhodo. And Mr. Sasato. Yes, I am Mr. Sasato. Try the other way around, Mr. Sholmes.
You just see the disappointment in her eyes.
I lose the first round.
That fangirl face is gone.
Your story there, Hurley.
In truth, I had hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrived in London. But some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes. So they apprehended Soseki-san in that short an amount of time? I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of my past involvements a little. A little? It is a mistake to think that one's brain attic has elastic walls and can distend to any extent.
You called me a man. I thought we had something special.
Carrie? I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out the useful ones.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, those are my own words of inimitable wisdom, you know, from an adventure entitled A Study in Scarlet. Please, there's no need to quote yourself. I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but fortunately my associate pens them beautifully. He means Iris, I suppose.
Mr. Sholmes, we have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned.
Goodness, what an earnest expression. My dear madam, I should be only too pleased, and this murky room is an apt place to discuss the murky case. We know this to be the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Soseki Natsume. It seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes, for the stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road. Natsume. Yes, I believe it was a name rather along those lines.
But Mr. Natsume denies it. He also says you're a bitch-ass motherfucker. And fight me behind a Wendy's.
I'm sure you'll win.
Or more appropriately, a Dairy Queen.
Was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little?
I'm sorry, Miss Sato, but I have not the slightest idea what you mean.
What?
I can't believe he was looking Sasato-san squarely in the eye while feigning ignorance. I assure you, I am not merely feigning ignorance. It would appear as if the pair of you are under some misapprehension. Oh, how?
Did he read the thoughts?
I assure you I have no recollection of accusing your stooped compatriot of the crime. But that doesn't make sense. The good detective of Scotland Yard made the following request of me, and I quote verbatim: "We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man seen fleeing the crime scene." Ah, a man seen fleeing. There were a number of books scattered on the pavement at the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop for which they had been purchased. On speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? I believe there is a receipt around here somewhere from the establishment in question. So you don't think Mr. Natsume is the culprit, then? That I cannot tell you. But it was aggravating my faculties, hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books, I found myself quite lost in bibliophily. Do not be deceived into believing that I am a man of leisure. No, no, no.
Oh dear.
Tell me. Have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings? Yes, Mr. Garadeb, a retired military man.
It was the first time I'd ever met a soldier from the great British institution that is the services.
And it was the first time I've ever met a maid from the great British institution that is service. I didn't think it was that funny. I do apologize. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid.
Yes, I read as much in my Great Britain primer.
And so, conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standing of those dwelling therein. Betoken their social standing, sorry? Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family.
Goodness, how extraordinary.
As you can appreciate, for those on the precarious boundary between the middle and lower classes, being able to afford just one maid is of the first importance. I had no idea. And it is for precisely that reason that I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs. Specifically in the retired Army veteran, Mr. John Garadeb. Oh? Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstances of this case, I am as yet unable to ascertain. I'm thoroughly lost on what he means to say. This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fellow. I assure you, any man whose lot is to dwell in a place such as this will stab somebody sooner or later.
Mr. Natsume stabbed no one.
Ah, but sooner or later, as I said.
Well, fuck you too. I don't believe that's the issue here.
About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea? No window? Well, I mean, I can clearly see that there is a window of sorts. But it's been completely blocked with bricks. Ah, I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tax.
What?
Window tax, what is that?
Surely not a tax on windows.
Precisely that.
Oh my goodness.
Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of their windows. Those of lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home perhaps, rapidly closed windows up. While the rich opened windows here, there, and everywhere, in an effort to curry favor with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money.
How awful and unjust. Forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light.
Indeed, disease was rife as a result. So some 40 years ago or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. But its legacy remains, as you can see, in squalid lodgings such as these, for example. I suppose Mr. Natsume's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps. It would appear so. I've done a little digging and discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price.
Because the room is so awful, I should think.
Apparently, Mr. Natsume only moved in here about 1 week ago. Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation. Oh? Still, that is of little relevance here, a matter not worthy of further attention. Are you sure? I'm curious now. Well, I believe I've told you all I can now. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of law? You remembered that, did you?
Oh, you remember him, but you don't remember me.
Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter, I wonder? To the occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it? I'm not sure. Not sure? On what grounds? Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday. Really? Well, then I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized, and so promptly, too. The thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients, to trust in their innocence? Yes. Trust. Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he? Ah! My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea. Oh, but I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come back to investigate? Ah, yes, that was indeed my initial intention. But there are simply too many fascinating books here. I couldn't possibly ignore them. Oh, I see.
Yeah, they did funny.
Nevertheless, there are two facts that I can state quite irrevocably. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room, And there are witnesses who swear to having seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I can say. Ah, and one more thing.
Oh, what is this, Mr. Sholmes? Tell us.
I cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is of relevance to this case, but I am quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something. Mr. Garrett is... Mr. Sholmes said as much before, actually, didn't he? Anyway, at present, that is really all that plays on my mind in relation to this case.
Mr. Naruhodo. As yet, our investigations have uncovered nothing that could help establish Mr. Natsumi's innocence.
No, you're right. Perhaps it's time we probed a little deeper into Mr. Garredep's secret. Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be of relevance or not. But I wish you very success, of course, Mr. Naruhodo. A busy man indeed. He's gone back to his book in the corner of the room. Five third-degree burns later.
Oh, I wanted to pet the cat.
Me too.
You'll get to see the cat again, spoiler alert. Oh, you pair again. Tell me, was the detective chap, I forget his name, still hard at work down there?
Mr. Herlock Sholmes?
Ah, yes, rings a vague bell. All that detective business isn't really my thing, I'm afraid. Well, Mr. Sholmes is in his element down there. Jolly good show. Another cup of tea, if you please, Joan.
Uh-oh.
Now then, why don't you tell me what... For the upteenth time, woman, will you watch what you're bollywell doing?
I shall be serving dinner shortly, sir.
Ah, yes, of course. Frightfully rude of me, but I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take your leave if you'd be so kind.
Oh, yes, of course. We are deeply grateful for all of your assistance.
Not at all, not at all. Don't get much chance to talk with young foreigners like yourselves. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck and all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garredeb is hiding something. And since no other avenues of investigation seem open to us at the moment, perhaps we should do some digging. He's gonna parachute out of the window, probably. What's he doing over there?
How'd he sneak in? Mr. Sholmes?
Aha! We meet again, my dear fellows. Good gracious! When did you sneak in here? Herlock Sholmes, sir. At your service.
Whatever were you doing over there by the window?
I am given to watching the evening sky as the sun sets, madam. Yet sadly, cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is, it lacks an aperture for such observation. So I took the liberty of borrowing a small corner of space by the window up here. Well, keeping an eye to one's windows at dusk is the prudent thing to do in London, I'm gathering. Ah, and one other thing, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, me? I thought perhaps you might be in need of a certain great detective's great mind. Wait, he's not talking about, is he? I didn't expect to be going through that again so soon.
Do you mean, Mr. Sholmes?
There is a mighty secret in this modest room. My eyes see even the most trivial of trifles. I take it you're prepared, Mr. Naruhodo? I think so. There is just time enough for one of my greatly admired great deductions. Let us conclude the matter before dark. Mr. Garadeb, though it would seem you are a military man of considerably distinguished service, your standing as a landlord is most certainly not what one might call first-rate. I'm afraid, sir, that it is all too clear to me. There are two conclusions I have been able to draw by careful observation of your living arrangements. I beg your pardon. The first is that even as we speak, you are concealing the presence of a ferocious beast in your care. And the second is that as a result of the beast's violent rampage, you have lost something very dear to you.
Mr. Naruhodo, look.
The old man's broken out in a cold sweat. Unbelievably, it seems Mr. Sholmes' conclusions are both spot on. How?
Someone see if he tastes like a liar.
How? How could you possibly? How could I possibly know, you mean to inquire? The answer couldn't be simpler, sir. For in the dense jungle of logic and reasoning, I am the king of beasts.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Okay. Apparently he does taste like a bit of a liar, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
he's in his mind, he's Tarzan. And I know only too well that wild beasts are not easily tamed. So, shall we begin? Once again, Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. It certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see that a fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late within these four walls. Thus, we are faced with the question, what form might this beast take? Ah, for a man with a military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Your furtive glance, Mr. Garrett, leads us directly to the answer. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that lion statue. Yes, though an army man, you appear unopposing at best. A fact that has fueled your admiration for the mighty lion, the king of beasts. What is this piffle, I ask you? In the end, your admiration became so great, in fact, that you had a living, breathing specimen shipped from India, which you tried to keep in this very house. What?
They have lions there?
What?
I thought... What the heck?
Yet living with such a wild beast proved more difficult than you had imagined. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to, madam?
It's her. She's the lion. She can turn into a lion.
She's a were-lion?
She's a were-lion.
Is that even possible?
Not in any fantasy that I've ever read.
me.
I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it is plain to me with one glance in your direction.
It is?
Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. For protruding from it is a handbill advertising a circus show.
Ah. I see why you chose this one for me.
Yes, you sought to dispose of this terrifying lion, Mr. Garadev, at Batty's Circus, a traveling show currently sauntering in a nearby park. I have observed the tents. You sold the savage lion, sir, to the circus troupe. I most certainly did not. I believe I have made my point. The fearsome beast which ran amok in this room was an Indian lion. And a simple visit to the circus now will reveal the lion prancing jubilantly through a ring of fire. Now, Mr. Garadev, it is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress this loss has caused you is verifiably tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. Amid fits of tears, you let your beloved beast go. The strain of losing something so dear to you is clearly visible in your visage. Nonsense, man! I simply... But what we must now ask ourselves is the true cause of this pain. And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is the pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Every envelope contains another demand for payment. For cartloads of meat, potatoes, wheat, and tea. Indeed, feeding your beloved has had a devastating impact on the financial circumstances of your household.
Wait, is he calling that maid his beloved and calling her fat?
Oh!
Yes. And so you had no choice but to let it go. Yes, well, Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack.
Unimaginable.
The aftermath of which can be clearly seen by observing the carpet over there. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, dearie me.
What could have caused such a destructive outburst? This time, madam, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wandering eye has settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire strait of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cakes. There is
nice.
nom 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 as he's deducting.
Eating evidence.
There is no creature more dangerous on this earth than a beast with an unsatiated appetite. Was it or was it not once said by a certain noblewoman, if they have no bread, let them eat cake?
Maria Antoinette much?
Food is at the heart of all tragedy, in fact. What?
Whatever do you mean?
Having tired of the taste of cake, the beast began to stalk its next prey. I'm sure I need not spell out the nature of this final act of destruction carried out by the beast. There is only one logical conclusion. Worked into a frenzy by hunger, the lion attacked and ate the carpet. The teeth marks in the carpet are a perfect match with those of a lion I once saw in India. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this beastly puzzle.
You know, that actually sounds like a good setup for something else.
Oh gosh, that's the
What is the matter with you, Joan? You're pouring scalding hot tea all over me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Gabbett. I'm afraid I didn't notice.
My deductions can be startlingly sharp. It stands to reason that your cup runneth over. Indeed, my revelations can make people spill tears at times, too.
Oh.
Mr. Sholmes, sorry to butt in again, but could I make an observation? Why, certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. What is it? Again? Well, your deductions just now. Do you really think a lion could have fit inside a room of this size? Indeed, it is the only explanation for the facts. The terrifying truth all too often lies beyond the realms of common sense. But wouldn't it be an idea to consider what lies inside the realms of common sense as well?
But if an uncaged lion had run amok in this very room, surely Mr. Garrideb and his maid would have been hurt, or worse.
Ah, that's where you are stuck. No doubt the former military man held his own against the beast using that large cannon. I thought you said that they sold the lion to the circus.
The lion broke out, didn't it? This lion comes back walking on its back legs.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean...
What someone does with like their fists when they're like, you know what I mean, right? When they're trying to get a fight and he's doing that with his paws. The lion's there in the box.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to fight you.
And what about the food? Meat and potatoes are one thing.
Hey, I can't help it that I like potatoes.
But I don't believe I've ever heard of a lion that drinks tea.
Well, fuck you too. I happen to enjoy a nice round of chocolate tea every now and then with Mr. Garrideb.
Isn't caffeine dangerous?
Look, I'm not Scar, okay? I can handle myself. Ah, my dear Mrs. Sato, it occurs to me with some regularity that irrespective of race and breeding, whenever anyone lands on Great British soil, they are infused with a highly appropriate taste for afternoon tea.
Oh, what a glorious notion.
And a bullshit one.
Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, it's your turn to shine again.
I had a feeling that was coming.
Here we go again. Oh shit.
Oh shit, here we go again. A slight massage, that's all Mr. Sholmes' deductions need. You can do it.
Excellent. I've been waiting for my trusty partner in deduction to step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. We don't even know yet whether or not this is going to help with Mr. Natsume's case.
Or is it
Still,
relevant to it?
uncovering the truth is always worthwhile, whatever the motivation. At least, that's what I want to believe. Let us start again from the beginning of Herlock Sholmes' Logic and Reasoning Spectacular.
I don't know if I said this before, but that guy's hair, when it spikes up, not only does it make me think of a shark, but it makes me think of, what was the guy's, the best friend from, like, the first 3 games, Larry? Except he has more spikes. You know what I mean, right?
So maybe this is Larry's ancestor?
Or
That'd be funny.
it would be funny. And I don't know why. It makes me think that he almost looks like I said, he looks like almost like that crescent moon thing. It almost looks like side view of a Lunatone.
Oh, the Pokemon, yes.
Oh.
And yeah, the maid has kind of like a sun figure. If you look at the hat, it looks like
like Soul Rock.
yeah. You could say like the sun and the moon.
Oh, gosh.
It certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see that a fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late within these 4 walls. Thus, we are faced with the question, what form might the beast take? Ah, for a man with a military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Your furtive glance, Mr. Garrett, leads us directly to the answer. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that lion statue. I really didn't see the lion thing coming.
No, but if you observe Mr. Gyarados' reaction, it rather seems as though some beast did indeed run amok here in this room.
Yes, something with a very fierce nature. But
it couldn't have been a lion transported from India.
Hey, I resent that.
You're too good for this, lion.
So what was it then?
We must follow Mr. Gyarados' gaze. That will lead us to the true answer.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, that thing. That looks like a bullet. Wait.
What's this photograph? Look at this photograph.
It appears to be from Mr. Gyarados' wedding. He looks very happy, doesn't he?
He does, but you can't make out his bride.
No, how unfortunate. Something must have struck the glass directly over the woman's face.
I wonder what happened. Probably best not to dwell too deeply there. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, I think I have to go back to it and then get a close-up of it, I think. It's so weird how sometimes it just doesn't, Oh, there we go. I wanted to make sure I did it right. Yeah, it's kind of, you know, like you have to be precise. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that newlywed bride. Precisely, Mr. Naruhodo. No other explanation could possibly fit. Yes, this framed print pictures your wife, Mr. Garadeb. And while we lament the fact that her face is obscured, we can still make out her mighty arms and note the considerable horsepower they must contain. Oh, Indeed. Surely any woman of such powerful constitution would be honored to be described as a beast.
No?
Honored might be stretching a point.
That's how you get a drink in your face.
Too late. I missed your drink. The fact remains that the beast which so clearly savaged this room was your wife, Mr. Garadeb. Gah! The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to, madam?
Her face jiggles, and I don't know how to feel about like the jiggle physics.
What, me?
I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it is plain to me with one glance in your direction.
It is.
Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts.
The poor, fragile, defenseless woman is beside herself.
Well, I don't know about fragile.
Oh, dear. Anyway, Mr. Sholmes is quite right. There's no signs of a Mrs. Garrideb anywhere.
But it seems there may be a clue as to her whereabouts. A clue that this maid is trying to hide. I wonder where Mr. Garrideb's wife could be. Whoa.
Oh.
Take that! Your wedding ring gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts.
Ah!
Indeed it does. That flowery band gleaming on your finger gives you away.
Hi.
For it is identical to the one shown on the hand of Mr. Garrideb's bride in this photographic print. In other words, you are no ordinary household maid. No. You are Mr. Garrideb's lucky bride. You are Mrs. Garrideb herself.
Oh my. Woo!
Oh god, I thought she was gonna bust into a rap. Wow.
The
Jolly.
rapping maid.
Yeah, there we go.
Prequel to the rapping nanny.
Yes. Well, jolly fine detecting, sir. As you rightly surmise, this is the wife, yes, my Joan. Rather let herself go, you might say, but she was a bally corkerback. Oh! It would appear that you don't live in the most comfortable of circumstances. After all, you are a retired army man, yet you are in the business of renting out rooms. I would assume, therefore, you have insufficient means to employ a maid. Would that be correct? It's not right, I tell you. I was 2nd Lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment. A man has his pride, don't you know? By golly, it's a sorry thing when a chap can't even afford to have a single maid in his employ. Yes, here in London, one is rather judged. A household cannot be considered worthy of society if it employs no staff at all. Though, in my considered opinion, such concerns about appearances are a folly. You mean Mr. Garrideb has his wife work as his maid? Precisely. Am I right, Mr. Garrideb? Only in company, obviously, but listen here. This must remain a secret. Tip-top secret, please! Now, Mr. Garrideb. It is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast.
Even he's tired.
Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress this loss has caused you is verifiably tangible.
Sorry.
Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. Mr. Sholmes is quite something. He's still calling Mr. Garrideb's wife a beast.
Yes. As a woman, that feels rather uncomfortable.
But Mrs. Garrideb is standing beside her husband as we speak. In other words, he hasn't lost his beloved at all, has he?
Oh, how true. So perhaps that supporting arm that seems to be propping up his head has some other significance then. No, you can't have any more treats.
It's not Halloween yet. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garrideb's plan is tangible, though. Or pain, I should say. What could that pose of his really signify?
Wait, did she slap him or burn him? Oh.
Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that slapped cheek. And of course, the deliverer of that impressive mark on your cheek that refuses to fade. Was you, Madam Joan Garrideb.
Well, yes.
You have been desperate to hide the slap mark on your cheek, sir. Gah!
He's been a very bad boy.
How the blazes, how did you work that out, man?
She's
Up.
got man hands. Like,
If that or she's just a badass.
just pimp slapped him with an open palm.
Or backhand, baby.
Nothing escapes the notice of one trained in the art of observation, my dear fellow. That's why you haven't looked directly at us even once. To keep your other side from view. Well,
Dark side of the moon.
Good one, Mooney. I applaud you and I love you.
Thank you.
Now, let us proceed to the next conundrum. Why were you subjected to such a violent slap?
What'd you do to piss her off, dude?
In other words, we must ask ourselves what caused Madame Garrideb to fly into a rage. And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is this pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer.
Didn't Mr. Holmes say that the bills were all for lion fodder?
Yes, but now we've established that the lion never existed. Oh, bye-bye, I go.
Mr.
Naruhodo, I don't feel so good.
Oh, God. You should have gone for the mane. Which can only mean that the thing responsible for gobbling up all that food was Mr. Garrideb's wife.
Mr. Naruhodo, she's a person, not a thing.
Yes, well... She's also a person who gave her husband a mighty slap round the face. One so hard... What, Circus?
Oh, God.
One so hard that it left a perfect hand mark, in fact.
Yes. Why would a woman want to hit her husband with such force, I wonder?
I'd love to know the answer to that question.
Stop doing that. Stop licking the plate. Oh, sorry. Someone must be reading this book at the moment. There's a bookmark here, look. Wait, oh, I see a sexy kiss mark.
He had a woman on the side.
Oh gosh, wait. He has a mistress. Mr. Garrideb is clearly an avid reader, an adulterer.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't think this is a bookmark.
Oh no, so it isn't. It's a note written in a woman's hand. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary.
And look next to the signature here.
Lip marks made with lipstick. Oh, what a passionate and romantic gesture.
Don't get
Okay.
any ideas, Sasato-san.
Yeah, you're really conveying for someone cheating on their wife.
Oh, dear, I'm sorry.
So this bookmark is actually a love note then.
Take that!
Yes, it is this love note that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Passionate indeed.
Right now, I want to hear the Shoma's voice do like 50 Shades.
Oh, God. give me like a paragraph from it, and I'll read it after the stream is over.
Oh my gosh. Okay, a Herlock Sholmes
Oh, yeah, but that's
ASMR.
like a
Let's
sub
fucking
goal.
go.
Perhaps the sender of this note, a certain Miss Mary, is the fly in the ointment here. Oh!
Damn.
But I don't know the bally woman. You don't know her? That note wasn't written to me. It was just in the book. I don't know how it got there. It was just in there, you say. That's right. That's what I've been saying.
A likely story.
Now listen here, Joan, old thing. I explained at the time. I bought the book at that second-hand place, and that note must already have been in there. So the previous owner of the book was using the note as a bookmark, you mean? That's right. That's what I've been saying. Oh!
A likely story.
For heaven's sake, woman! Look at the name! It's written to James! My name, in case you've forgotten, is John!
Yeah, she's doing this on purpose.
A likely story.
Are you questioning my name now? Oh!
Oh, she's
And-
a badass.
I like her.
And there we have it. Arouse the suspicions of the female heart, and you unleash a beast with the most ferocious bite.
Can I keep her?
Ugh. Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack.
Unimaginable.
The aftermath of which can clearly be seen by observing the carpet over there. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, dearie me.
What could have caused such a destructive outburst? This time, madam, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wandering eye has settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cakes.
But surely Mr. Mrs. Garrick didn't eat the carpet.
No.
That's a euphemism.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. I forgot that in the moment.
I see what you did there.
My mind is always in the gutter, it appears.
You don't
Miss-
know about how well you do and on the other side of the basketball court there, Miss Susato.
Don't get any wrong ideas, Mooney. No, of course not. But there doesn't seem to be any doubt. that the state of disarray that this room is in is a result of her wild temper.
No, that's true. So, this is the last part of Mr. Shom's deduction that we need to fix. We need only to follow Mr. Garridub's gaze, and that will tell us the real answer.
Alright, let's see what we can see.
Hi. Yes. This looks like a very old candlestick, doesn't it? Oh, she tried to burn the house down.
The base looks too small. Surely it's very unstable.
That explains the burned part of the carpeting.
It looks to me like even the slightest knock would make it topple over.
Oh dear, that would be dangerous.
Wait, take a closer look at this. There's one candle missing.
Yes, I didn't notice that before.
Why is that, I wonder? Why is one candle of the 3 missing from its holder?
That explains that. Now that's what they call burning the rug or something like that.
Take that! Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the candlestick. Most illuminating, my dear fellow, and of course the only possible way out of this logical labyrinth. Yes, the remnants of a ferocious attack in which the carpet was devoured are clearly visible. Indeed they are. The scorch marks at the edge clearly give the truth away. Scorch marks? It would appear that this room was the scene of a little marital altercation. Mrs. Garridub's mighty arm muscles left an impression not only on her husband's face, but on the entire room. The force of her strike caused the candle to fall from the holder.
Trying to say she slapped him so hard he flew across the room, hit the wall, knocked over the candle, started a fire, probably made him piss himself in fear.
That's some Rube Goldberg shit right there.
And in seconds, the carpet was alight, and the whole corner of the room in flames. Yes, For the most ferocious beast in this world is neither a violent lion nor a vengeful woman, but fire. And in this room, that ferocious beast bared its claws and ran amok. Elegantly put, my dear fellow. So you see, there is but one conclusion here. After the sparks of marital discord flew, this room was the scene of a fire. Mr. Shome, sir. I salute you!
Whoa. Wait, is he fainting?
Damn.
That should be like a portrait somewhere on like some person's fireplace.
or as meme material.
Yes, that should be meme material right there.
Jeez, they got him so good he just passed out.
It's these
Never mind, she had smelling salts.
Oh. Thank you for those smelling salts. Reminds me of the war.
Wait, that's what you use, right?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I scratched. Sorry.
Looking
It's-
at that just made me light up my candle.
It's these dashed long winter nights, you know. Nothing to do but rain in front of the fire. Luckily, there's a jolly good secondhand bookshop just around the corner, but all my old novels there. And in the pages of one particular novel, you discovered some rather illicit material.
For which your wife admonished you harshly, it seems. Sorry.
Don't know about admonished. Demolished might be rather close to the mark. And beast is most certainly an apt desire. Here we go again. And the carpet, was that destroyed by fire when a candle fell on the floor? Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bolly thing. I was caught between the old stick's rage and the raging flames. You paint a torrid picture, sir. One that would have been most entertaining. That's sympathy for you.
I feel like this guy would like to watch Jerry Springer.
Yeah.
Have a big old thing of popcorn. Just
Watch the fights go out.
The suspense is terrible. I hope it'll last.
Okay, Willie, calm down.
Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bully furniture started going up as well. We've had to hide the mess behind that screen for the time being.
over there, Mr. Garadeb.
Well, you have nothing more to hide now, if you'll allow me.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Had all my favorite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh! Up in smoke. Gosh. Then the wife started hurling things at me.
What a terrible sight it must have been.
There was I, back up against the window under heavy enemy fire, incendiary books coming 10 to the dozen. Worst of it is, I lost my favorite, book called The Lion's Pride.
Oh.
The Lion's Pride. Ah, yes, your notorious love of big cats coming through again. I assure you, the title didn't influence my choice in the slightest. So the poor man really did lose something dear to him as a result of the ferocious beast's rampage.
Oh. Mr. Shom's deductions turned out to be correct once again.
I helped. It can only be described as a great British wonder. I tell you, it was total carnage. Flames everywhere and the old stick in full fettle. Out of interest, what time of day was that? Not sure I can remember. It was 2 days ago now. Let's see. Around 5 o'clock, I think?
So at exactly the same time, as a terrifying incident was unfolding outside your window on the street below.
Even more terrifying on the inside, I can assure you. The whole of Blighty could have been flattened outside my window at that moment. And I wouldn't have noticed a dashed thing.
Oh, really? Why is everyone quiet?
Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Mr. Naruhodo, what can I do for you? Well, I think we've got to the bottom of Mr. Garadeb's situation now. But what does this have to do with Mr. Natsumi's circumstances? I can't help you there, I'm afraid. What? My dear fellow, if you recall, I did say as much from the outset. I warned you that although I knew the retired army man to be hiding something, I could not be sure whether his secret would prove to be of relevance or not. I just knew you were going to say that.
What a troll!
Now,
What an asshole.
Now, Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't lose heart. Bear in mind that all things fall into one of only two categories, those relevant to the case and those not.
That's of not of the relevance.
That makes no sense to me. Well, no matter. It is of far greater importance that you make up your mind now. Sorry? Visiting hours at the prison will soon be over. Oh no, is it that time already?
If we're to accept Mr. Natsumi's case, we have official paperwork to attend to.
So that's it. No more time to think.
Perhaps would you like to partake yourselves to bidding us a farewell now?
Yeah, she has to keep slapping me across the face and throwing things at me again. And dumping tea on my you-know-what.
This is why they never had kids. I must prepare supper for Mr.
Great, now you're making me think of my immortal.
Yes, and you know what's for supper? It's a total can of whoop-ass. Oh, yes. I'm so sorry.
Thank you both very much for your time.
So Seki-san will be waiting for us. And I'm going to have to give him an unanswer. Oh, I forgot this guy coming up. Oh my god.
It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. We must hurry back to the prison.
Yes, I know. Let's hurry Oh.
What's the matter?
It looks like something's going on over there in front of the Garradebs' house.
Huh?
I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. Oh, you calling out, man, you rum-looking niminy-piminy.
What?
There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than all dreamt of in your philosophy. Who's this Horatio fellow, eh? What are you on about?
Excuse me.
Eh, what the? Who are you now?
I'm sorry, it just looked as though there might be some problem here. I'm my associate here, Mr. Renosuke Naruhodo, is a lawyer, you see.
Eh, a lawyer? What? If I could be of any assistance, I'd be happy to help. I'm from Japan, but I have studied English law. Fine, I'll be on my way for today, but you mark my words.
Elliot, stop being naughty.
This ain't over yet.
Stop being naughty. Go lay down.
Get thee to a nunnery. Do I look like a bloomin' nun to you?
Where is it? Here it is.
I do hope you're not injured.
Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so gentle. Thank you. What was that all about? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than all dreamt of in your philosophy. I'm not Horatio either.
Forgive the inquiry, sir, but are you a lodger here in the Garradeb residence?
Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so right. Yes, I do dwell in this humble abode. Mr. Garradeb mentioned that he had another lodger, didn't he? This must be the man. Do you happen to know the other lodger who lives on the first floor? Ah, yes, a gentleman named Natsume. Oh, more worthy a polemist than my battle of words never could there be. Sorry, battle, did you say? Who was the stronger, Hamlet or Macbeth? Mr. Natsume and I sparred long into the night. I see.
I don't fully understand, but it seems Mr. Natsume and this gentleman are acquaintances, at least.
So fair maiden, so good gentleman. I can tarry here no longer. Fare thee well.
As he fades away, like in a PowerPoint presentation.
Yep.
I didn't really understand him, but I think he's returned to his room.
It seems he's unaware of what's happened to Mr. Natsume, so he can't really help us. With Soseki-san and that man as lodgers, the Garrett house is certainly full of eccentrics. Anyway, I'll go and find a carriage.
Yes, I'm sure Mr. Natsume is eagerly awaiting our return.
Let's hope we can get to the prison before visiting hours are over. Oh, it's you. You're here. You came. Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. I can't believe you came back. I'm so touched.
We are so sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Natsume.
Oh, no. Think nothing of it. Relax. If I were a cat, I would purr with pleasure at the company of such fine compatriots. Noble, nurturing, never-failing Nipponese! Oh, now let's not get carried away. Oh, I quite agree! There is nothing more reassuring than the familiarity of one's native land. On the other hand, it is through friendship transcending international borders that one truly appreciates the fact.
Oh, shit.
Such is my belief, at least. It's you. The miserable, rotten spy, Hairlock Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing here? I have no intention of doing anything, per se. Save observing, of course.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes?
Well, having encountered some curious reading material in that gloomful room, and having unmasked the secret identity of that eccentric pair, I decided I should drop in on my way home to see how our divested friend is faring. Gloomful room. At least your accommodation here offers a window, my dear fella. In that sense, it is the superior option.
What an asshole.
Anyway, I must commend you on your taste in books. My day has been a delight and cost me not a penny.
Cheapskate.
You! How dare you, Hairlock Sholmes! I've had it. I'm through. I'm at the end of my rope. I should never have come to Great Britain. It was a terrible mistake. Haunted by spirits in those accursed lodgings, no doubt my luck will be cursed in tomorrow's trial as well. My whole life is bedamned!
What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo?
He mentioned that once before, didn't he? That his lodgings were cursed, I mean. And there is much truth in Mr. Mustache's words. What? Cursed is a wholly appropriate description, I would say. For the man's lodgings, and indeed for tomorrow's trial. What's that supposed to mean? Mr. Natsume, what did you mean by what you said just now? About the trial tomorrow being cursed. Oh no. Why are you looking so grave? You're making me nervous. I was just getting carried away, that's all. I didn't mean anything by it. Oh, I see. That's really agitated him. You don't mean the trial really is cursed somehow? Are you referring to the prosecutor, the Reaper of the Bailey? The Reaper? Oh no, what do you mean? Please, tell me, summarize it subsequently in 16 salient words. No defendant has ever survived a trial in which the Reaper stands for the prosecution. Ever. Oh my goodness, can it really be true? That was 16 words exactly.
Yesterday, Mr. Naruhodo successfully defended someone against the Reaper. But then, after the trial was over, the defendant passed away in unusual circumstances. Why are we telling him this?
Mr. McGilded. What? Ah, I am impressed, Mr. Sato. You have an eye for detail.
Unlike you. Actually, the Lord Chief Justice told us.
Mr. Sholmes, surely it can't be that having failed to have the accused convicted, Lord Van Zeeks killed the man himself.
Oh no, he couldn't have. Surely.
Yeah, Ghosty would be really mad if her husband was in jail.
Yep.
Especially if he went out in the way of Danny.
You have some wonderful notions.
Well, thank you.
Sorry? The man isn't a mass murderer. He's a court prosecutor, my dear fellow.
Oh, yes. Why, of course he is.
Ah, of course he is. Then why are you trying to scare me? It could be said, however, that the real truth about the man is even more terrifying than your hypothesis. What on earth do you mean by that? Van Zeeks is quite an exceptional man. However, in London courts of law, exceptional does not equate to winning every case without exception. That's good. Soseki-san looks like he's gonna cry tears of joy. As you are no doubt aware, in a British criminal trial, there is both a judge and a jury. The judge officiates based on the letter of the law, whilst the jury offers public opinion and common sense. It is an excellent system whereby the defendant's guilt is considered from several points of view. However, public opinion in particular is somewhat easily manipulated. Right. Criminals and corrupt lawyers, for that matter, can use it to their advantage. By any means at their disposal, contriving evidence, calling imposters as witnesses, and so on. By such underhand means, those who would want to are able to sway the jury. Which means that even in the light of irrefutable evidence, the prosecution can fail.
But it means the wrong verdict can be passed.
And sadly, as from time to time, my dear madam, it is simply the reality of the situation. And that's all right. However, those indicted by Lord Van Zeeks cannot escape justice. Their fate is sealed.
Oh my.
Though the adjudication may see them leave the courtroom with their freedom, within months, they all disappear. It is most striking. Disappear? But how? Ah, by all manner of misfortune, sir. Perhaps they are trampled under a passing carriage. Perhaps they fall into the Thames and drown. Perhaps they are suddenly overcome by a raging fever, or perhaps attacked by highwaymen. Oh, no, no, no.
Let's go back to Japan.
Get me out of here. All examples of the reality of events here in London, I'm afraid, Mr. Naruhodo.
That's...
Ah, I knew it. I'm a dead dodo, done for, doomed! When you said accursed lodgings before, you were referring to your room at Mr. Garrideb's house, I assume. Do you mean to say you believe the place is cursed? It's been a year now since I came to Great Britain. But I'd only been in London a week before I started to notice strange feelings in myself. That didn't take long, then. Everywhere I looked, there were foreign faces staring at me, laughing behind my back. I was sure people were talking about me. I started to become nervous about going outside.
Always here. Somebody's watching me.
And I've got no privacy.
Oh, they were always staring at me. All the time, from dawn till dusk. So I shut myself away in my room, but even that didn't help. The fear wouldn't go away.
You must have been very lonely, having been away from your homeland for such a long time.
I've had to move a number of times, most recently to that room on Briar Road a week ago now. Yes, why did you choose there? It seems a little inconvenient. The rent is cheap. I have so little money, it appealed to me straight away. Of course, I asked why it was so affordable. The landlord just simpered and said, "The room is cursed. Oops."
Oh.
He quickly tried to cover his mistake, but it was too late, so I told him, "If you have something to say, then say it, but if not, don't mention it in the first place." Yes, well said. But it was true. It was all true. You mean the room really is cursed, then? Ever since I moved into that windowless hellhole, my sleep has been plagued with nightmares. I awake feeling as though I'm being choked to death. And in my waking hours, people are stabbed in front of me as I walk down the street. I'm branded a killer, thrown in prison. Nobody wants to know me. I'm surrounded by scary, sinister spirits. If only there was someone, just one person on my side. Can no one find it in his or her heart to believe in me? Really, no one at all? To believe. Yes, to believe. Mr. Sholmes? Ah, me, Mr. Naruhodo. Pray, what can I do for you? It's about the case on the SS Bureau, if you recall. The Bureau. The Bureau. Ah, that case. The one with the snake? Well, yes. At that time, I was the suspect, but you believed in me and listened to my side of the story. And you helped us to investigate. I did I? Interesting. What I want to know is why. Why did you believe me? I see, yes. You mean because you were a grimy dressed, shady Eastern fellow found with the victim in a locked room?
Racist.
Well, if you like, yes. I'm a little surprised that the answer requires explanation, my dear fellow. It's quite simple, really. You said I didn't do it. But I could have been lying. Surely you must have had your doubts. You must have suspected me a little. I think perhaps you have misunderstood. I neither recall believing in you, nor in that which you were telling me. What? You see, the only things I believe in are those I choose to believe in.
What do you mean, Mr. Sholmes?
I make up my own mind about what is to be believed and what is not.
He's a rogue.
If I should like to believe in something, I do. The circumstances can hang as far as I'm concerned. But I could have betrayed your trust. In that case, I should have made an elementary error of judgment, nothing more. Betrayal of trust is an overused excuse, in my opinion. Meaning, whether or not one should trust another is, in the final analysis, down to oneself. It is a matter of whether or not one can trust oneself. Yes, he's right. He's right, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Whether or not I can believe myself. A defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself.
I must go now. My people need me.
Yeah, I need to go back to the clouded skies where Jesus has drank too much wine. And again, Mary is throwing coffee at Joseph once again, and I've been trying to get them to settle things in heaven therapy. It's not going so well. You alright, Mooney? You okay, Mooney?
Yeah, I'm
We
good.
just wanted you to laugh. We didn't want you to choke to death.
You are so right, Kazuma.
Hi. Sorry, I got a cat here.
Well, my dear fellows, it is time we were leaving, I believe.
Already?
Visiting hours are over. The guard will be here shortly to escort us out. There is a restaurant near here that serves excellent trout. Would you care to join me?
Oh, dear. There's never enough time, is there? We gotta sneak in trout for him.
I want fish. Give me trout.
And some for the cat.
I'm like, well, yes, give me one for the cat and give one for me because we are both cats. But I'm a cat in a, I'm a boy in a cat suit.
Yep.
I like chicken. I like liver.
Meow, 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 meow.
Mr. Natsume, if you'd like, in the trial tomorrow, I'd be happy to represent you. I, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. As I said, I only experienced the British courtroom for the first time yesterday. And although the man I was representing was found not guilty, I lost sight of something crucial. Something crucial. What to believe in? The defendant, justice, or the truth? How to believe, even. But I think I finally worked it out. I've decided I must believe in myself above all else, to trust my instincts.
Yes, Mr. Naruhodo.
And my instincts are telling me that you, Mr. Natsume, are innocent of this crime. And it's imperative that we prove that in court. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. I will fight for your innocence until the bitter end with every weapon available to me. So I hope you'll permit me to represent you tomorrow. As I said when we first met, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who will listen to me in my native tongue. Of course, Mr. Natsume. It would be fair to say, Mr. Naruhodo, that your mind was in many ways made up from the outset. You merely needed the events of today to fully realize it. Yes, I think you're right about that. It's been a roundabout journey, but I got there in the end.
Why did we need to see a flashback of her burning his chunk of tea?
La 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 la. Screw you, YouTube. I'm humming this song right now.
Na, 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 na.
Mrs. Sato,
Yes.
would you be willing to stand by my side tomorrow and help me in court?
That's absolutely. As I said this morning, you may consider me your personal judicial assistant.
The shocking events of yesterday's trial still weigh heavily on my mind. But it's time to stop looking backwards. Kazuma believed in me, and Mr. Sholmes believes in me now too. So it's time. Time that I learned to believe in myself.
Gotta believe.
So Seki-san has no one. He's all alone. So it is my job to help him, to fight his corner. Tomorrow, in the courtroom, with all the strength I can muster. And let's not forget, there's gonna be Fluffy Puff marshmallows involved.
Okay, Homestar.
It just occurred to me who's feeding the cat that he has in his room.
That's what I was wondering earlier.
Oh, Ed, that was me. I've been feeding him marshmallows the whole time.
You can't feed a cat marshmallows.
And not only that, I've been giving about 147 glasses of lemonade.
You can't feed a cat lemonade.
Cats don't
No.
even like lemon because
It's not...
the smell is too strong for them because
I-
of citrus.
I didn't say lemonade. I said melanade.
Oh, you
Ugh.
can't give it melon.
What's the relevance in that?
Cats
I
are
don't-
weird and stuff you can feed them and stuff you can't.
I don't know. It was just the only things I had on me at the time.
Like there's this thing that it's called cat wine, but it's really beet juice.
Oh, and yeah, so that's going to be it for us tonight. We're going to find out next week in the trial exactly who did it. So we will find out those answers when we get to it. And by the way, this is not a murder trial. Somebody just got stabbed in the back and they're still alive in a coma. So this is technically a manslaughter case.
Yes.
Or attempted
Wait.
murder, I should say.
Well,
I was gonna say,
don't know
aren't
if
they
that person's
still
gonna be wicked.
alive technically?
Oh, yeah, they're still
Oh.
alive. That's what I said.
well, then we don't know if they're she's vegetable or not.
Yeah, we don't know if she's in a vegetative state. We don't know. She might just wake up and say, I know who did it! And then just points
I know who did it. I
and-
know.
and then just points right at the judge like, what? I didn't do anything. and then Joan just drops the tea and goes, "Wah!" all over again.
I didn't do it this time.
It wasn't me.
Spilling the tea on Joe.
All right.
If y'all don't stop accusing me, I will spill my tea all over this courtroom.
Oh God, it's gonna be the Boston Tea Party in here, even though that happened hundreds of years ago. All right, so that's gonna be it for us tonight. We'll be back. Oh, I will be back on Sunday for anti-church service. So those of you that don't want to go to church on Sunday morning, I'm gonna be playing Metroid Dread.
Okay.
Probably like a better way to spend people's time. It's like, do I really want to worship Jesus today, or do I want to worship Samus Aran? So
Oh gosh, just not too harder. It'll be like a certain dev.
I think
yeah,
I'd rather worship sleep.
Yeah, there you go. That too. As many atheists would say, the best thing about Sundays is I get to sleep in early. Or sleep in late, I should say. All right, guys. That's enough for us tonight. So for all of us here at the Church of Spaghetti, the Church of Naked Spaghetti, I should say, we'll catch you all next time. Bye, everyone.
I'll for some 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah.
Bye.